How do you know if you're right with God? I mean, it's a question that people from all walks of life ask themselves. Today, we're going to dig into a really powerful answer to that question. It comes from a sermon given in a martyr cemetery in Iran, and it completely reframes what a spiritual connection can even mean.
All right, let's jump right in. The sermon starts by tapping into something super universal, right? This deep human desire to feel connected, to have some kind of spiritual certainty in your life. And this is the question at the heart of it all. It's not some abstract philosophical thing. It's a deeply personal question. Where do I stand with the divine? This one question really sets the stage for everything that's about to unfold.
Okay, so to really get why this question is so heavy, we have to understand who Imam Zaman is. He is this awaited messianic figure in Shia theology. So for believers, knowing if he is pleased with them, well, it isn't just a nice to have. It's literally everything.
So where do you even begin to look for an answer to a question that big? Well, the sermon's answer is pretty surprising. It's not about having some wild, mystical vision. Instead, the answer is supposedly hiding in plain sight, in a book that's available to anyone.
The entire argument really comes down to this foundational teaching from the Prophet Muhammad. The speaker's take is that the Quran and the Imam are two sides of the same coin. They are inseparable. So if the Imam is hidden from view, you can still connect with his will and his teachings through the Quran. It's like a perfect mirror.
And this is where the speaker draws a really sharp line in the sand. On one side, you have what he calls false connections, people claiming special access for money or power. He says that's a fraud. But on the other side, true connection. That's something different. It's internal. It's about actually living by the principles and ethics you find in the Quran.
And this is such a crucial point. The sermon's saying that a real spiritual connection isn't a passive thing. It's not about waiting for a sign. It's something you do. It's when your actions, your character, your sense of forgiveness, when all of that makes the teachings of the Quran visible to the people around you.
Okay, that sounds good in theory, right? But what does it actually look like in the real world? Well, to make this idea concrete, the speaker shares a couple of stories about people who he says truly embodied this way of life and achieved this incredible closeness to the divine.
So, the first story kicks off with a dream. A man named Sayyid Jafar has this incredibly vivid vision of Imam Zaman himself leading a group of people in prayer out in the middle of a desert. But as he gets closer in the dream, one person just stands out. A scholar standing right next to the Imam. And that physical closeness isn't just a random detail. No way. It's a powerful symbol of his incredible spiritual proximity.
So he wakes up, and this isn't something he can just shake off. It sparks this real-life mission. He becomes absolutely convinced that he has to find this man from his dream.
And where does this epic search end? Not in a palace or some grand hall, but in a small, humble room in a seminary. He finds the man, a scholar known not for flashy miracles, but for his deep, quiet piety, a life built on Quranic principles. It's the perfect illustration of the sermon's whole point.
Okay, so we've seen the scholar's quiet life. Now, get ready for a shift, because we're heading to the emotional heart of this whole sermon. The speaker brings all these ideas to life with the last will and testament of a young soldier.
And this isn't an old story from a quiet seminary. This is raw and real, from the battlefield. The speaker presents this martyr's will as the ultimate proof, a testament to what it means to live and to die by these principles.
And get this, the will doesn't start with bravado or slogans. It starts with this raw, incredible humility. He's literally putting his own soul on trial against his faith. The speaker says this is a perfect example of presenting oneself to the Quran, just a totally honest self-assessment.
And just listen to this metaphor. He doesn't describe the front line as a place of hate, but as a marketplace of love. Wow. He says everyone brings what they have to offer, but the only currency God accepts is your life itself. That is such a stunning way to reframe the idea of sacrifice.
And then, everything changes. The tone completely shifts. He stops his personal reflection and starts speaking directly to anyone who might visit his grave. To us.
And this is it. This is the gut punch of the whole sermon, delivered through the martyr's own words. He asks this haunting question. Basically, are a few tears and a prayer enough? Are you going to forget the responsibility our sacrifice puts on you? He's saying their sacrifice demands more than just passive remembrance. It's a call to action.
And so, that's the final challenge the sermon just leaves hanging in the air. The martyr's question echoes out,
And it's not just about a spiritual connection anymore, it's about what that connection demands from us. What is the responsibility of those who remain?